Good morning and welcome to Our Stories. Our guest today is Kimoni Hess. When I asked him about his story, he told me that the event in his life that had the most impact on him was his graduation from Eureka College. After listening to his story, I can understand why he would say that. But let's have Kimoni give us some background first. Kimoni, you were raised in Decatur?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to elementary. I went to French Academy, middle school, Thomas Jefferson High School, Eisenhower High School.
Okay. And then from there you went to Eureka?
First, first I went to Iowa Central Community College, chasing after the typical high school, post-high school football dream.
Oh, okay.
Wanted to play college ball.
Yeah.
That didn't work out. Then I went to not Ellsworth Community College in Iowa Falls, Iowa. And then I landed at UIS, and that's where I about gave up, but I decided I wanted to go to Eureka College, so I enrolled there. I got accepted initially, and decided to wait another semester because I want to get most of my general education classes taken care of. But I landed to Eureka College after a couple stops.
Okay. Well, you got through. That's good. You told me that in your elementary years there was one teacher who really made you appreciate the enjoyment of new learning.
Yeah, it started in my first teacher would have been Mrs. Green, but the main catalyst teacher I would say would be Malcolm Moore, Mac Moore, as you guys know him. He took a chance on me, a kid from the South End Decatur, not the good part, but he took a chance on me, even though I was kind of, as he would tell you, my poison is my over-enthusiasm when it came to playing extra credit quiz games, or when I was on the Scholastic Bowl team, I was the captain. But he impressed on me earlier that it was okay to be being where I'm from, to want to learn, to want to be different, and have some accountability about myself.
After you graduated and you were at Eureka, you said you majored in criminal justice?
Yeah, I have 2 bachelor's degrees in criminal justice and sociology with a minor in psychology.
Yeah. But majoring in criminal justice was a bit of a stretch in your reality, given the
Family.
incidents that involving some of your family members in the law.
Yeah, strange enough, though, I have family members on my dad's side of the family who are DEA, FBI, U.S. District Attorneys. I have where my dad's from in Tennessee. My cousin is one of the top sheriffs in Haywood County. But I have family, from both sides of the track. But it was the family that was on the right side, the law enforcement that had kept my focus and not, wanted to be different and not follow in the footsteps of other family members
who were involved with the law in some other ways.
Yes, other ways.
Yeah.
Nicely put it.
Yeah. So your mother was a steady and strong force in your life. Your dad was around, but not so involved in like a fathering role.
I mean, he gave me like a lot of life lessons, like you would call his principles of life and ideal things, like how you're supposed to, govern yourself from, certain situations as a kid. But after his father had passed, he kind of had, a kick with mental. It kind of had an effect on his mental well-being, which kind of led to him, looking to, as the saying would say, love in all the wrong places and such, not at home. But later on, as one of the questions, towards the end, me and him reconnected. It was my last semester at Eureka, I was worried about graduating. Some of my friends weren't, being good to me around that time. And I called him up and I cried to him, shed some tears. And I had asked him, am I good enough in your eyes to, to stand by you, or, or a man in your eyes? He said, you've been a man, you've been good enough to stand by me since September 2nd, 1985. And I'm sorry if I was cold or cruel to you growing up. I just wanted you to, sorry if I'm tearing up a little bit, but sorry if I was cold and cruel to you over years. I just wanted you to be able to handle life when I'm not around, or if I ever do pass.
Okay. It's graduation time at school.
Yep.
And you had invited him to come and be part of graduation. You had other family members who were going to be there.
Yes.
And you invited him to come, and what answer did he give you about being there that day?
He said he was coming, but he was very sick at that time, because at that time he found out the cancer. He came back, he had prostate and colon cancer. He also had type 1 diabetes for a couple of decades. It's gotten worse. And he had congestive heart failure. When he got his heart scan around that time, and he said he was coming, but I knew he was sick. I didn't know the extent of it. And he called, he told me he was in a hotel in Morton, Illinois. And he was telling me he was coming. And I fast forward that graduate, I'm sitting in my chair for graduation a little bit. They were going to start walking this, and I look around. I didn't see him at first. I think it was just me having a panic attack. I look around, I didn't see him at first. So I got up, I ran to the bathroom, closed the bathroom stall, started to cry. And I hear the whirring of a metallized, not metallized, but a mechanical wheelchair coming in and knocking around. I hear this loud thump at the stall. And my dad's nickname for me back then was Boosh, because he said I looked like a hound dog, like his hound dog from when he was a kid.
Yeah.
But I was getting up. He asked me to step up. It's the first time in years I've ever seen him walk without any kind of assistance, get up out of his chair. He grabbed me by the collar, straight, wiped my tears up, and he did this thing called the ram hug. And he said that I didn't peel myself off my sick bed just not to see my favorite mistake, but my greatest success, and I walk across that stage. And I started to tear up like a little bitty baby, and he wiped my tears again. And he gently popped me up the back of my head, told me to go sit down and get ready to put on a good show for him and such. And I wish I had the picture in the frame, but he had my graduation medal and my diploma, and he said that this is one of his favorite moments in his life because he got to see me exceed all his expectations. And
you were the only.
I was his only boy.
Yeah. Well, you were the only one that graduated from college, right?
My sisters are a little bit more accomplished. I have a sister who has a master's of education down in Mississippi. I have my sister Tequila. She is a minister. She has her own ministry down in Atlanta, Georgia area, but she also works for she's a general manager for an area for a big insurance company down in Georgia. And I have my sister Tierra, who's an entrepreneur, but I'm the only boy out of my dad's kids to make it past high school.
So your dad was there, and he was proud of you that day, and let you know that. But he also kind of gave you a charge of responsibility.
Yes, that was fast forward 3 years from then. my father had passed in February 11, 2017, and he was still fully functioning, whatever, driving. He was legally able to drive. But he dropped me off at my last night at work, which I was a bouncer at Sliders here in Macon County, and I got out the car. I see him struggle to shut the door again. I wanted to help. I helped him out. I started to cry because I hear him how he was breathing and moaning and such. My dad's hands, I kid you not, are like about 5 times bigger than mine. And it's very callous because he used to work on the railroad and hard manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
And his callous hands just rubbed my face and my beard. He says, "I'm gonna be okay. Don't worry about me." And then later on at night, he gave me a phone call telling me that I need to, make good with my sisters, make good with my little brother, who is my only full-blooded brother, Tony. Yeah. And to make sure I take care of Tony's kids. I said, "What do you mean by Tony's kids?" He was referring to Tia, Tony, and Silk, and make sure that I see him through, and he wants Tony to live in his legacy as an athlete and as a person, but he wants him to be a better extension and a way better person than he ever was. I said, "I'm going to try my best." And by like a little bit 12 o'clock that afternoon, I get a phone call from my mother-in-law, or stepmother, who's since passed too, telling me that my father is gone. I said, "What do you mean?" I thought, turns out he had onset dementia and cancer spread quickly sooner than it was supposed to be. And thought he left in the van or something. He said, "No, he passed this morning." I said, my heart just broke in a million pieces, and I found out that cancer had kicked into full gear, and it got all the way up to his brain. It started to eat away at that, and I guess he passed in his sleep. But he had hours before he had called me again, asking me if anybody was there. Or I didn't get to check the voicemail to his day of passing, and I still. This part kind of breaks my heart, but I still feel bad, because I wonder if I would have answered that phone call or had somebody take me out there, if I could have, saved him, but I never know, because
cancer was that far advanced. You're not gonna, you're not gonna. You may be strong, but you're not gonna be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
So, but as you were saying, though, that particularly from the time of your graduation until he passed, the two of you had probably the best relationship you had in your whole life. Then you, in terms of kind of following up on, him saying to you to be looking out for those kids.
Yes.
You went to check on them, right?
Yeah, this is it's one of the stories that this is an actual true story I'm about to say. So I get off I was working security at job number 3. I was at Acorn Pharmaceutical. I had my own vehicle at the time, and Mom said she hasn't seen the kids in about a couple of days. She wanted me to go check on them. This is before my youngest niece, Silk, was born. So I go check on them, see the door's cracked open, largely thing, whatever. I walk in, TV's on, and I see Tony's grandma and his mother passed out on the couch with crack pipes on the table and crack on the table. Tony, strange enough, he eats like I do, but He was covered in crumbs and got in a whole bunch of juice boxes and Oreos, but he had a pamper full of crap at the time.
Yeah.
And he kept pointing where him and his sister sleep at, saying "Boom Boom Baby." That's what he called his sister at the time, because he always had the red bat like Bam Bam. He used to hit her with it. But so I went in there to see, and I seen this guy starting to undo his pants. He is sitting on the bed, and I think quick, and I get him up out of there and dispatch him or whatnot, and then another guy's coming up the stairs, I guess for the same thing, and I'm glad I got there in that time. And that's the reason why I'm protective over them. I'm protective over you guys here at the church, because you guys are I look at you guys as my family. And I might be some of my ways, you can ask Pastor G, I might be overprotective, but I would feel bad if something ever happened, if I was around and if I didn't do anything, or if I could intercede. That's
You got the kids out of there.
Oh yes.
And
they've been living with us ever since.
Right. Yeah. And those one of those kids was really kind of somebody that took care of you when your dad died.
Yes.
And
oh yes.
And
this is my that would be Tony Bradford Hess III, my nephew Tony. Oh man, I don't know what he was doing, but he came in, he see me crying, he grabbed my face, he gave me a ram hug and a smooch on the forehead. He said, "Uncle Monty, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Bubba's here." I said, "What?" He said, I said, "Okay, man." And this was before we put my dad to rest, which would have been on the 25th.
Mm.
But yeah, he always comes, checks on me in the morning. He kind of takes on my personality. I have my flaws, but he takes after me. He looks like his dad, but he takes after me, which I'm grateful for. But no matter where I'm at, he'll come find me. He'll come check on me if I'm.
But you were really, really down that day.
Yes.
He came and
he
gave you a big lift.
Yes, it got me through, and it was around that time I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't want to eat. Imagine that.
Mm.
But he's been if I would say if anybody's my hero besides my father, it would be him, because back then I didn't know where I was going at, what I was doing, but.
So how did you come to work at First Pres?
Oh man, I was in the search for. I just stopped working at Walmart because I wanted a job to where I can be around the kids more. Or sorry, hiccuping, but or potentially take them to work with me or whatnot, or have a good area for them to come and visit me at work. And I seen they had a job opening for a security person here, so I filled it out, keep my fingers crossed. And I had first I got a message from Fred Spanius on Indeed.com, and then I got a phone call that I never told him this, so I kind of teared up a little bit. I heard from Mac Moore, asked me, am I still interested in the job and I want to come do an interview? And I said yes, and that's how I came to work here. I met almost everybody except for you. They were sitting at the table. When I did get it, I didn't think I would fit in, with everybody, because I'm tall, wide, and some people could find me intimidating, but it took me like a couple of months. And
you said you were kind of apprehensive about wondering how you'd be accepted here.
Yeah, because I didn't know, because this is my first time working at a church. Mm-hmm. But I try to, let people know who I am and what I'm about. And it was where I knew I was going to fit in at, besides meeting Mr. Moore, my old Thomas Jefferson teacher, was, I'm not sure if she still comes here or not, but I met, back when I was in elementary growing up, I had learning disability. One of it was reading, and I had met my old Title I specialist, James Spires.
This place has worked out for you okay?
Oh yeah, it's more than okay.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here
I'm glad to be here.
and glad to have you tell your story.
Oh yes, sir.
Okay? Thanks so much.
Oh, you welcome.